What is up, everyone? Welcome to RotoGrinders NBA Crunch Time. I'm your host, TJ Zwarich. Happy Sunday. Happy Oscars Sunday to those who celebrate. Anyone going to be watching some Oscars tonight? I know I will be. But joining me today to break down this wonderful, just fine, NBA slate we have for this Sunday. First up, I got Taylor Smith. How you doing today, Taylor?
Doing well. It is kind of a weird slate with weird value that we don't like. We were just talking about guys like Haywood Highsmith and Johnny Juzang before the show, so it could be ugly out there, but we do still have news pending, so maybe things will look a little rosier in an hour or so.
We do still have news pending, and it's a weird slate where the first game starts 3.5 hours before the last game, so it's going to be a long, drawn-out slate tonight. And helping us break it all down, playing 150 tonight, we got the Chief, Will Priester. How you doing tonight, Will?
I'll let you know after I get these lineups in. I do not like what this thing is spitting out for me right now. And I almost feel like the only way I can actually fix it is just to hit the X button on some of these guys. But I can't do that. So here's what I'm going to do. You guys heard like some of my exposures up top. Good God, it's ugly. I'm going to just go ahead and put that in so I have lineups in, because clearly the drawback is on this show, I could be sitting here tinkering and forget to actually get them in. So the first thing I'm going to do is get these lineups in, and then I'll start tinkering a little bit more with my script, and I've got my editing Excel sheet open, and I'll start doing that. But I'm not about to at least not run the lineups that I have for what it's worth.
Well,
sorry,
it could be a night similar to last night where you can just skip the first couple. And I did that last night, and I only really had to dodge a Killian Hayes bullet, and he didn't do anything. Jalen Duren had a massive game, but nobody really played him, so it didn't matter. It was one of those ones where you could just totally skip the first two and then build your totality of your lineups afterwards. And it went pretty well for me last night. I think I had 5 teams in the top 50, and I profited, doubled up in an MME, which you're always happy with. But I think I had 5 teams in the top 50, and I was like, damn, really couldn't get one up there into the, top 5, top 3, get ourselves a nice little money making day. But it was still profitable day nonetheless, and shout out to our guy Tim, because I believe Tim took down all the single entry stuff he was in last night. So shout out to Tim for a big night. Let's keep it going here on Sunday. Taylor, how are you planning on attacking this slate? Like, we got the 2 games right at 6 o'clock. We got 2 games with a lot of news pending at 9:30 p.m. And then this one in the middle, 8 p.m., New Orleans and Utah, looking like the most exciting one on the slate, not from a real-life basketball standpoint, but for at least for fantasy.
Yeah, I am inclined to go as underweight as they can on the 2 games at the top of the hour. The Orlando-Toronto game, other than like a couple of magic, like the 2 wings that we always want to play, I'm really not that interested in anything else, not really on the Toronto side in particular. And then there's some value on Miami. It's very shaky value. You can always target the Knicks just because of the minutes, but, not a great spot. The prices are kind of elevated on some of the main guys. So nothing is really a priority in those early games unless you want to take a shot on some of the Heat cheap stuff. But for the most part, I just kind of want to wait for news. I don't know if LeBron or Luka or Anthony Edwards are serious threats to sit, but, there's always a chance. These are 2 games that start in the same window at 9:30 Eastern. So I would like to wait as long as possible before locking up a bunch of lineup spots.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I have it set right now where I'm not Xing out the first 2 games like I did yesterday. I was considering it, but I ended up just making it a max 1 of Miami and max 1 of Orlando, and then I X'd out the Knicks and Toronto completely. So it probably won't take too long for us to break down these first few games game by game. We will, of course, go game by game. Then we'll go position by position. Then we will take your questions. We are here for 1 hour right up until lock. So smash that like button for some free NBA content on a Sunday. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hit that like for us. Help us battle the YouTube algorithm. It helps us wonderfully. We appreciate you. All we ask is that you give it a little like. Chief, I'll throw it to you first. Toronto and Orlando. Pretty boring game we have here. Like I said, I X'd out Toronto entirely. And on the Orlando side of things, I feel like Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner got to stay in the pool for ceiling purposes, but I don't really want to play them either.
I am playing them.
What's your exposures looking like for Wagner and Paolo right now?
Hold on, let me tell you. I think I'm pretty much with the field on them. Give me a second. Franz,
4% Franz and 4% Banchero.
Oh, hold on a second. You said that's what you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with the field on those guys. I got 20. I'm slightly under on Paolo and slightly over on Franz. But either way, like I'm well over on some other guys, so I'm okay with that. Being close enough to the field. I just think, and I think those are the only two Orlando guys. No, I am playing some Wendell Carter Jr. too. Those are only three guys I'm playing. I just think one of Franz of Paolo could go for 50. And I don't really have them in the same lineups. So as long as one of them does what they're supposed to do, I'll be sitting pretty early on.
Taylor, how about you? Toronto, Orlando, how are you handling this one?
Mostly ignoring it. I have a little bit of Paolo and Franz, definitely separating them. Definitely a max one of the Orlando side. I think, Scotty Barnes is kind of cheap on DK. I just don't really see the need for it. There's a lot else to pay for on the slate. So I don't hate getting to him in like a 150 set, but it would be an extremely small amount. And the matchup is so bad that I'm not really concerned about the fade. So the two guys in Orlando and then nothing from Toronto, really.
All right, well, let's pivot right to the next game then. We got New York and Miami. This one, equally unexciting. I think I'm planning on Xing out this New York side completely. Guys like, Towns and Brunson, they're always fine. I just don't think I'm going to get there on this slate. And then the Miami side of things, this is where it gets annoying because I feel perfectly comfortable not playing Bam, not playing Hero today. But we got a lack of value, and Miami does have some cheapies.
Good luck. Oh gosh. Is this going to be a pain point for us tonight, Taylor? TJ, I don't even know whose turn it was. But so if I cut you off, Taylor, I'm sorry.
All good.
I'm sitting here, and you guys know I just put my lineups in, but I'm considering going back and taking the fade on either Highsmith or Burks or both. I don't know. Miami's been all over the place. The only person I trust completely right now is Hero. Maybe Bam. But God, the projections are just forcing Highsmith and Burks into my script. So it's nasty, man. This is god awful. So I want to make some adjustments here. But man, like I talked about, if both of these guys go for 25 on this slate, one of them or both of them could be in the winning lineup. It's terrible though.
Haywood Highsmith played 27 minutes the other night, Taylor, and put up 36 fantasy points.
Which means tonight he puts up 3.6.
He can. I don't think it's likely. He just doesn't get any usage. Usually he's doing nothing out there, getting cardio and all that. I would just rather wait on other value. Like we have a ton of value from Utah. There's potentially value from like Phoenix. The Lakers have some cheap guys I don't hate getting to. So I just don't see the need. Like you're locking up an early roster spot. Who knows what could happen? Bradley Beal is another questionable guy who could sit. which would make Phoenix a little more alluring, both with expensive guys and punts. So I don't know. I don't really want to play Highsmith, especially if he's going to be owned. I don't mind Burks because he's a bit cheaper. He does have a ceiling. He can get going offensively, more of a scoring type guy than Haywood Highsmith is. So he's going to be owned too, though. So it's like, I don't know. I'm inclined to fade them or at least be a bit under the field on Burks. I don't think fading Highsmith entirely is a bad thing to do at all. Like, if he burns you, whatever, you play again tomorrow and just hope that you don't get burned again. But I don't know. I feel like the opportunity cost with cheap stuff is such that I don't really need to force this kind of thing. But we'll see what the lineup, like if they have a starting lineup that has Burks in it, I'd be a lot more interested than if it has Highsmith in it, for example.
Here's my
Anybody
question.
on? What's that?
Here's my question. Why do we need this Miami value? Like, I don't even think we actually need it. I mean, it definitely opens up the salary, but like Utah has real value, like with Sensabaugh and Martin and heck, even Filipowski. Like, and I know they're more expensive, but like, do we even need this Miami value?
I'm not touching it at all in my single entry lineup. And I'm going to a maximum 1 in my MME set just because Burks and Highsmith are so cheap. If they get over 20 plus points, I'm going to be happy to have them, and I'll still utilize that Utah value. I'll try to play Luka and LeBron together in a lineup in those types of situations. So I'm okay. I am not even considering them in my single entry, but in MME, I'm okay with sprinkles just because they're so ridiculously cheap. I also kind of like Khalil Ware.
Yeah, I do have him too. I'll just say this. The reason why I'm asking this in more of a question format than being a little bit more definitive is my brain is trying to override the projections that I see. And I don't have a problem doing that. But my brain is telling me to just X these guys out completely. But my heart says, man, either one of those guys get 25, you'll need them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm making a group right now. I'm calling it Bad Miami. I should just call it Miami Got Me in a Vice. That's what I'll call it. Miami Got Me in a Vice, just to make myself feel better. And I'm just going to put Highsmith and what's the other? Alec Burks in there and go from there. I think that's what I'm going to do.
Taylor, what are your thoughts on Khalil Ware tonight? Then are you gonna play any Knicks?
Not really on the Knicks. I was getting a little bit of McBride just as a pure punt who occasionally gets a boost in minutes if he's playing well, but not a comfortable value at all, but not a bad alternative if he's unowned compared to like a Highsmith at 20-something%. I don't mind that. Just not something I would do with a lot of volume. Anunoby is kind of cheap on DK also. I don't mind that at 5.7, but not really getting to Towns or Brunson or Mikal Bridges. As far as Ware goes, he got benched at halftime of the last game. That could have been a matchups thing. We'll see. Like if he starts tonight, I feel okay about it. But if he doesn't, then certainly at 5.4, he's probably overpriced for the minutes he's going to play. I'm mostly just on Hero, like a dusting of Bam, but neither are core plays. I think Hero's a good price on DK at 8.4. But, Ware is a good tournament play if he's starting. But if he's not, I would probably run away, not look back.
Guys, I got it down. I'm feeling way better. I'm feeling way better about my situation. I'm feeling so much better about my situation. I'm just letting you guys know. Sorry, guys, I'm building lineups live. This is why they don't want us to do this. Sorry, Andy. Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Steve. Even though you're not producing, this is why they don't want us to do this. You see us think out loud while we're building, and that is what you guys are getting from me today, which might actually have its own value.
If they're able to think out loud and build, I don't think it's a problem at all. It's when one completely distracts you from the other, right? When it's like, oh my gosh, I'm building, I can't talk. That's a problem. But when you're like, this is what I'm doing today, here's my strategy, these are the adjustments I'm going to make. I think that's a very valuable addition. We got OKC. We have San Antonio. OKC 13-point favorites in this one. San Antonio is at home. SGA probably going to be pretty low owned here as one of the more expensive spends tonight. Taylor, we'll start with you this time. What do you think about OKC and San Antonio?
Yeah, I do like the OKC side. They have a pretty high total. San Antonio's on the second half of a back-to-back, so they could be a little bit fatigued. There's blowout risk, of course, and like there is in just about every game with OKC, but SGA is kind of underpriced. There's no Chet, so more usage for him, more usage for Jalen Williams, and then Hartenstein is going to start, we assume, at center. And the Spurs, without Wembanyama, of course, don't have a lot of rim protection. He's going to be going up against Bismack Biyombo or Sohan or someone like that. So I do like Hartenstein quite a bit. He's probably my favorite play on the OKC side on DK at 6,400. Quite a bit cheaper than he was like when he was really thriving with Chet out before. So I do like that in the spot. I will get some Shea at 10-5. I just prefer the Lakers spends, assuming they play LeBron and Luka without Reeves, without Rui. Not a great spot against the Clippers, but I just think the upside's pretty strong for both of them. And then, Phoenix has some spends. I like Anthony Edwards a little bit, even with Randall back. So I wouldn't say, and then the Pelicans, of course, who we'll get to. So SGA is not a core play, but he does have slate breaking ceiling, and it is a pretty good matchup. So I don't mind that. And then Fox on the other side is kind of cheap at 8-2, but not a priority. Really bad matchup on a back-to-back. They still have a pretty crowded rotation. So a little bit of Fox, but mostly just those three from OKC.
Will, how about you? Are you getting to any SGA as a spend up, and then you getting any San Antonio as some salary savers?
I'm over the field on SGA for sure, just because, for me, I view these studs in these types of matchups in two different ways. Either they just go slap off in like limited minutes, and he goes for like 65 3/4. Well, it's kind of three-pronged. He's either going to fail, go off, or be right at value. And I guess you could say, well, yeah, that's every day. But like in this situation, I feel like his upside is 65 to 70 fantasy points, and his downside is probably like 40. Would you agree with that, Taylor, or something close to that? I feel like he gets at least 40 in this game. He's probably got upside for 65. Maybe he finishes somewhere in the middle, like 53 or something. But I think the cost of admission is worth the risk taking. I think that's what I'm really trying to say here. Like, when nobody's going to be playing him today, I want to play him in this spot against San Antonio, in a spot where he could just absolutely go off.
Couldn't agree more. Love this spot for him. Let's pivot over to the next game, New Orleans at Utah. I know we're not going like as in depth into these in-game breakdowns as we do on Grinders Live, but we are still going position by position. So not to fret, we are still going to be giving you an in-depth breakdown of each position on FanDuel and DraftKings. Make sure you get your questions into the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat as well as the YouTube chat. YouTube, smash that like button. This is the game that's going to be real chalky, but there's also the best value on the slate here on both FanDuel and DraftKings. We have New Orleans at Utah. New Orleans 7.5-point favorites. Utah's got no Laurie. They got no Laurie and Markkanen, the same guy. They got no Collins. They got no Walker Kessler. New Orleans is a little bit healthier here, but still, Utah plays at a fast pace in their horrific defense. Will, I will start with you. Who do you like in the – we obviously like people, but how are you prioritizing New Orleans and Utah?
Well, so everybody and their mom is going to be playing Utah today. So I don't think I really have to sell anyone on this. What I will say is I think we need to be getting to the Pelicans also. So that's how I'm going to frame this particular game. I feel like we're going to get a whole lot of Utah and not enough Pelicans. And I definitely think the Pelicans deserve just as much of a look as the Utah guys in terms of just the game, the combined game. The spread's not crazy. 231.5 total. Can easily fit Zion on the other side of 3 or 4 Jazz. Can easily fit Trey Murphy on the other side of 3 or 4 Jazz. Can easily fit McCollum on the other side. Can easily fit Missy +1 on the other side of 3 or 4 Jazz. Some lineups even getting to 5. So I just think for the game in general, we need to be having a much stronger consideration for these Pelicans, where I feel like everybody else is just kind of playing the Jazz and not playing anyone else.
Agreed, 100%. I think Zion is going to end up being my favorite spend up on the entire slate. And then I love CJ McCollum as a low-owned guy. Trey Murphy is a low-owned guy. Taylor, what are you doing with New Orleans? And then how are you prioritizing the value on Utah? Because personally, I'm just hitting the lock button on Kyle Filipowski tonight.
Yeah, this is a lot better than the Miami stuff that we've talked about or anything else we've talked about. Just without those 5 guys, like the core players on the team, there's a ton of usage to go around. The minute should be safe for at least the starters. So I don't love that Filipowski's center only on DK, but it is what it is. He's going to play a ton of minutes. He's a good per minute guy. I'm just going to eat that as well. And then Sensabaugh gets usage, assuming he starts. Collier, similar story. Keontae comes off the bench, but still gets a ton of usage. The minute should be fine for him. Not worried about that at all. And then, Juzang, KJ Martin, Svi is okay if he starts. He's super cheap, and he's been pretty good this season when given the chance. If he doesn't start, he might not play at all. So there's a lot of risk with that. But it's just you kind of have to be diligent about the way you're building with Utah. Like the optimizer might try to give you 5 of them, which is probably a little bit too much, but it is great value. So I think I want a max of 3. I think you can make a case for 4 of them. And then on the New Orleans side, like those top 3 all look really good. Zion finally topped 30 minutes in the last game for the first time since November. So perhaps they're finally giving him a chance to run a little bit more. And then CJ we've seen as a nuclear ceiling. Trey Murphy getting a ton of minutes every single night. So I would probably max 2 of those 3 Pelicans, but you can fully stack this game and feel pretty good about it.
Couldn't agree more. Will, any final thoughts on New Orleans and Utah?
I was going through my bills because Taylor, brought up a valid point. I've got in most of my Utah bills, I've got 4. That's kind of where I'm at. I do think 3 is probably, let's call it best, but a lot of times in those 4, I'm getting some combination of Filipowski's pretty much in all of them. I don't have the lock button, but every Utah combination's probably got Filipowski in some capacity. And then when you're getting Filipowski and Sensabaugh, you're kind of innately getting one of the other 2s, one of Collier or Keontae. So I think 4 is probably like reasonable. 5 is probably too many. I would say 3 is probably most optimal. Let's say that.
Yeah, I set a max 4 today for me. I'm totally fine going up to that. And I saw Ricardo Emanuel in chat saying he's going to play Micah Potter at 3,200. Potter, Svi, Cody Williams, these super cheap guys that are going to be lower owned. I absolutely think all of them are in play today. No problem at all. As we switch over to the Lakers and the Clippers, we had 2 questions that are pretty similar that I want to run by you guys. Taylor, I'll start with you. What do you think about Collier and George in the same lineup for GPPs?
I think it's okay. I was kind of debating the same thing, but the minutes should be quite secure for them both, and they've both gotten there in the same game before, so I don't mind it. I think if I were to get 4 Jazz in a lineup, I would make sure I get at least 1 Pelican on the other side just to kind of correlate that a little bit. But if I do 3, I don't think getting to New Orleans is a must. But yeah.
Will, how about Braun and Luka? You okay playing them together in tournaments tonight?
I think it's fine. Quite honest, I think I'd rather play SGA and Jalen together for what it's or Jalen and Hartenstein. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like you have to. Like, you can, but I don't think it's necessary.
Clippers and Lakers, Battle of LA, 4.5-point spread. LeBron and Luka are going to be the 2 most popular spend-ups on the slate, and they are both listed as questionable. No Rui Hachimura, no Austin Reeves. Means a ton of minutes for a lot of cheap guys for the Lakers. But according to projections, it doesn't really matter because these guys are not looking very good today. Taylor, I'll start with you. Clippers and the Lakers. Who do you like better between Braun and Luka? And then what are you doing with the rest of these guys?
I do prefer LeBron just for the savings. He's under 10K on both sites. Luka is still cheap on DK, over 11 on FanDuel, but I was also debating whether to play them together. Usually it's something I would not do, especially if both are into ownership. I still might do a max one there. I'm not fully decided on that yet. But I don't mind cheap stuff. Like I think I'd rather play Gabe Vincent or Jackson Hayes or even Dorian Finney-Smith than Haywood Highsmith, for example. Not good per minute guys, but they are cheap. The minutes are pretty guaranteed without Reeves and Rui in there, and Jordan Goodwin, another body out of the lineup. So Gabe Vincent's the one I'm getting to the most at 3.9 on DK, point guard, shooting guard, just kind of fits. And it is what it is. He's a late spot, so if unexpected news breaks, or if Anthony Edwards is out, or Luka or LeBron, he leaves me a spot to pivot from. So that's kind of my case for him over someone like Highsmith. Don't expect a ton out of him if I do play him, but for the price, I think it's okay on this slate.
Will, how about you? Clippers, Lakers. This game does actually have one of my very favorite tournament plays on the slate.
Zoo?
Yep.
I do have some Zubac. I think I'm over the field. I'll just address that now, TJ, since you brought it up. Let's see. How far over the field am I on Zubac? Oh, only 1%. Well, either way, I'm over. For some reason, I thought I was more closer to 15, but maybe that's somebody else. Oh, yeah, that's SGA. Sorry. How did I get them confused? No clue. But anyway, I do like Zoo. I am playing some Kawhi. So I'm playing Zubac, I'm playing Kawhi only because Kawhi's 7,500. If he happens to go for 45 tonight in a competitive game, I just think that's really good value for him. I'm actually not expecting him to get anywhere near 45, but in the event he does, I have some exposure to him. Obviously, I have Luka. Obviously, I have LeBron. I don't think I have any other Lakers. And I'll just live with it if Dorian Finney-Smith goes for 45 fantasy points.
Yeah, I'm mixing in a small amount of Finney-Smith, Jackson Hayes, Gabe Vincent, but not a ton. I have 40% each of Luka and LeBron tonight. I like the Clippers side quite a bit, though. I think James Harden at super low ownership is interesting for tournaments. I love Zubac tonight. He's one of my favorite centers. I'm getting about 25%. The only one I have more than that is Filipowski. And then even like some Kawhi, like you said, and Norman Powell. Norman Powell's back, and he's been lighting it up as he was before, even with Kawhi there. So I think he's interesting for tournaments. We got some New York news. As expected, Josh Hart and Mitch Robb both available to play today. One of the reasons why we're comfortable fully fading New York, just a lot of bodies for them today. Last game of the slate, then we'll start going position by position. We'll give you our cash cores. We'll give you our tournament cores. And then, of course, we will take your questions going to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat, followed by the YouTube chat. So YouTube, make sure you are smashing that like button. And this one is a 1-point spread. Very exciting game. Probably the best real-life game on the slate, I would think. But we still got Anthony Edwards listed as questionable. We still got Bradley Beal listed as questionable. No Rudy Gobert in this one. Will, I will start with you. Who do you like in Minnesota and Phoenix?
Oh yeah, give me Anthony Edwards, and I think Ant-Man is when I'm definitely over the field on. Yeah, I'm over the field on Ant by about 5%.
Alec Burks is in the starting lineup today for Miami.
Oh, baby.
Haywood Highsmith is not.
Khalil Ware is as well in the lineup.
So Haywood Highsmith is definitely no longer in play, and Alec Burks is on the Utah level of value for sure.
Guys, all right, time to make another change here. All right, my Ant-Man exposure may go up. We'll see. So yeah, I'm going to just get rid of Highsmith altogether. Thank goodness we still got 28 minutes, huh? Thanks to our smart content director Andy Means for actually putting us on this thing a whole hour for 6 games and getting news and you guys getting react to us doing this thing live. Back to Minnesota. Love Nas Reed. I know Julius Randle's back. I don't care. I feel like Nas isn't going to get any ownership tonight. I think we've got him projected around 5 to 7% or something like that. So I'm going to be above the field on him and above the field on Ant-Man. And that's pretty much what I'm doing with Minnesota. I'm going to hold off on I do have some Booker. I don't have any Durant. I do have some Nick Richards, and I do have some Bradley Beal exposure currently. If he gets ruled out, I'll just make some swaps or something like that. But that's where I am in this game. But love Nas, love Ant-Man. I'm just sticking with Nas because I feel like his price has caught up, but the field is probably going to hop off. And I want to stay on for at least one more game here.
I fully recognize that this is a little ridiculous and aggressive considering we were just like, the Miami value. I don't like it. I'm going to play 100% Alec Burks. He's $3,200 and shooting guard is so gross.
No, don't do this.
Shooting guard is so gross and he's $3,200. What's the worst that can happen? He has 8 points and I can still min cash. I don't care. He's $3,200. I'm doing it. 100%.
Well,
Alec
I'm
Burks.
seeing what my script is about to force on me right now. It's probably about to force in 50+%. I would have to assume. Yeah. Oh, God. Gee whiz, man. My
Alec
bill
Burks.
changes again.
100%.
Now the problem is I have 30% Johnny Using. I don't want that.
Taylor, Minnesota, Phoenix. Who do you like in this one? If Edwards and Beal play, who do you like if they're out?
If they play, Edwards at 9K just seems cheap on DK, even with Randall back. I don't really think Randall's going to cut too much into his usage. Could be wrong, but Edwards has kind of just taken over and told his teammates to F off, it seems. So it's for the best for the team. I'm okay with him. I think Nas Reed's a really good tournament play, even at this price. Should keep starting without Gobert. Again, Randall should be somewhat limited. I think we had him around 30 minutes, but that's not a full workload necessarily. So really just those two. I think you can play Randall. He is a little bit cheap, but there's risk, of course, with the minutes. And then for Phoenix, I think Booker is a strong play, not really getting to a lot of KD, slightly more expensive. Beal, if he's in, the price came up, so not quite as interested as I was like a week ago. And then I still have interest in Bol. I still have interest in Nick Richards. Both are cheap. Minnesota has decent size up front, so they should get the minutes. I would assume Bol's going to start again. This is another situation where if Bol doesn't start, I'm not interested. But if he does, I think he's still a really good value at 5-4 on DK.
Agreed with that 100%. I like some Bol tonight, especially on DraftKings. Likely going to be in my single entry lineup, I think, tonight. He's somebody that I want to be getting to there and there. I can just plug you in for now. That's good enough. I just want to make sure I got Alec Burks into my single entry lineup. I'm playing 100% because I'm perfectly fine with losing some money. That's no problem at all. I don't necessarily think it's going to go for the best. But it's either going to go great or it's going to go pretty terribly for me. Before we start going to position by position, you're playing multiple DFS sports, there's never been a better time to sign up for a RotoGrinders Combo Pro. Check out this sweet deal for a limited time. Get your first month of Combo Pro for $79.99. That's just $15 more than PGA Premium, $5 more than NBA Premium. Talk about a value play. If you don't want all of that, you just want some projections, you can get access to the shot quality projections, most advanced NBA data in the market. Get shot quality projections for Lineup HQ, rotogrinders.com/shot quality. You can get 1 month access for $40 or yearly for $200. Or if you just want to give it a test run, you can try a 3-day pass for $9.99. Or hey, maybe you don't want the Combo Pro, or you already got it. Maybe you just got the shot quality and you don't want the whole combo. You just want a little something extra for props and pick'em. Check out our props and pick'em package for a discount. It features daily prop picks and fantasy pick'em selections from many of your favorite RotoGrinders experts. Plus, we're knocking 50% off the price of your first month when you sign up at the link down below in the description, right down there. Let's start going position by position, utilizing the SimLabs tool here at RotoGrinders, which of course you have access to if you have Combo Pro or NBA Combo. We'll start on Ooh, no, maybe we don't have time to go both FanDuel and DraftKings together, I don't think. Or sorry, to do them separately. So we will do them all together. Taylor, if you don't mind affirming at each position who are the cash game plays for both FanDuel and DraftKings. And we'll go position by position here and cover them together, starting at point guard. I'll go with you first, Taylor.
Yeah, so I do have Keontae George tagged as a core play. I think that's a pretty good cash play. You see him appearing in quite a few lineups there in SimLabs. So going to get the usage off the bench for Utah. There's a lot of it to go around given the guys who are missing from the lineup, and it's a good matchup for against New Orleans. So I like that. Burks 3-2, like we talked about. TJ's going all in. I don't think that's a bad strategy, especially in cash where you're not really hunting ceilings necessarily. So should be able to pay that off. Don't mind Luka. Don't mind. I think Collier, Castle, guys like that are more of tournament plays, but Collier's okay if you land on him. Hero, secondary play. It's really just George and Burks, and then maybe like Luka or Collier.
Bill T in Discord bringing up a good point, potentially a little ominous here. You know who the leader of the PGA golf tournament this week is right now in the Cognizant Classic in Palm Beach? You know who it is, Will?
No, who is
that with the last name Highsmith.
Oh man, I'm not buying into that. I'm not buying into that. Highsmith is going to be a low Smith today.
Who are your favorite tournament plays at point guard?
Oh man, and we're combining. Did you say we're combining today? TJ?
Yeah, FanDuel and DraftKings together.
Okay, so on FanDuel, I think that the main thing is, look, man, one of these Utah guys needs to be in there. So, whether you decide that's Keontae, whether you decide that's Collier, I understand on FanDuel, like Collier's 5,900, like that. That's a really nice price. But I feel the same way on DraftKings. I think you just play them both and move on from there. I don't want to overlook a guy like CJ McCollum, who might be a little bit overpriced on FanDuel, but I did want to mention him. And then, of course, my big spend up, one of my big spends on the day is SGA. Really like him today for sure.
All right, take me over to, or we'll stick with, since Taylor's on the core plays for cash day, we'll stick with him first for each of them, and then that way we can kind of go cash core, tournament core for each. Taylor, of course, feel free to give your tournament thoughts too, but who are we playing in cash? Shooting guard on FanDuel and DraftKings.
Yeah, I think you just slide Burks in there now. Shooting guard eligible, punt price. Starting, the Knicks defense isn't that imposing either, so no issue with that at all. Keontae also on FanDuel, shooting guard eligible, which is useful. Otherwise, I don't mind spending up. Trey Murphy stands out, like we talked about, just playing all the minutes, playing against this Utah skeleton crew. Don't mind that at all. I think you can play Gabe Vincent in cash, assuming he starts in place of Reeves. Juzang is okay if you land on it, not remarkable or anything. I think I might prefer Gabe Vincent just because I trust the minutes a little more. And then I think Svi, if he starts, is viable as well at 3-6. But if you're punting with Burks, you probably don't need Svi.
One thing I would say is if you're building lots of lineups, don't put both Juzang and Svi in your pool. They're both shooting guard, small forward eligible, and Juzang is $200 more expensive. Just put Juzang in your pool, and then if he does not start and it's Svi who starts ahead of him, just do the full swap. All your Juzang to Svi, because I feel like it's going to be one of those guys who gets the minutes and not both. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Very easy way to build.
All right, Will, how about you? Who do you like at shooting guard?
Plenty of guys, man, but I'm going back to my script here because this is where I think the rubber meets the road. Alec Burks, folks, we got to be getting him in our lineups, right? I mean, Alex got to be in there. I do have some using. I have some Castle as well, both sides. Anthony Edwards, though, a guy that I do like to spend up on. He's $9K on DraftKings. Really like that price. You can get Trey Murphy also. Like he's kind of a spend up. So I think he's $8K on DraftKings, and I've got him also. Once again, just trying to get some other pieces on the other side of that Utah game, I think I think it's a good strategy to pull in some of those Pelican guys. So really do like Trey Murphy.
Yeah, I like Murphy a lot for tournaments as well. It feels gross, but I'm going to play 100% Alec Burks going with the lock button today. Keep an eye on that Bradley Beal questionable tag. If he plays, he's been playing some really good basketball lately. If he's out, that does open up quite a bit of value for Phoenix. Small forward. Now that he's coming off the bench, I don't. As soon as we get an update, I don't think Haywood Highsmith's going to have the highest optimal rate here, but it's still not a very strong position outside of Braun. Taylor, who are the cash game plays here at small forward? And I forgot
Braun
small forward eligibility too.
Who was that?
Zion.
Yeah, Zion is certainly up there. I do prefer LeBron. Just between them, getting both is perfectly fine. If you land on that, like that's a great build. Sensabaugh, I think, is one of the better Utah values, assuming he starts, gets usage, and all that. So he looks good. So other than Sensabaugh and maybe this Juzang Svi thing, if you do land in that situation, you're probably just paying up for LeBron or Zion or both. Franz Wagner's okay, probably not for cash, more of a tournament play, and then Trey Murphy, like we talked about, just getting all the minutes for New Orleans. But LeBron is someone I think you definitely want in cash, assuming he plays.
All right, Will, small forward, who you liking?
I'm uploading my third run. I'm going back to my my script right now. The run has been uploaded. Small forward. I do have some sense about. I do really like Franz Wagner today. I will say that. I know I mentioned him and Paolo just kind of splitting the difference. I am just playing only one of them, but I do like them. Obviously, I definitely think you need to be playing LeBron James on DraftKings. I know we can get Jalen Williams at power forward. Also, Jalen Williams is the guy that I really like tonight. And then that Zion Williamson at small forward. Another one, Trey Murphy also. I have a sprinkle. I don't have a lot of Spurs. I have a sprinkle of Keldon Johnson, and I also have a sprinkle of Kawhi Leonard. I'm about 2% over the field on him. I pulled a Dean Shavelson special and got 10% of Kawhi Leonard at small forward. That's Dean 78904 if you want to get all technical. Like Kawhi also.
Nice. I like that. That was good. Not only did you mix in the Deanisms, but you got his name, the full numbers in there. That was impressive. It's almost like you've been working with him for a while. Power forward position, Taylor. Who are you playing in cash, and who do you like in tournaments?
It's the same guys. It's Sensabaugh. If you want a cheap one, it's Zion or LeBron on the high end. Otherwise, you're looking at tournament guy. I guess KJ Martin's okay if he starts at 4K, but I never love playing that guy. Bol also at 5.4 is cash viable, assuming he starts. And then Keldon's okay if you're not convicted about Sensabaugh, but I just prefer the Jazz of the two.
All right, Will, how about you? Power forward?
Yeah, more Jazz. Obviously, you can get KJ Martin at power forward only on DraftKings. So got KJ Martin. Still like Jalen Williams, like Paolo Banchero. Talked about him. I am playing a sprinkle of Bam. Naz Reid. Obviously, I can play him at power forward or center on DraftKings. Got him. So yeah, those are like the main guys. Not to overlook LeBron, who I've already talked about, small forward. Like if you want to get him at power forward, perfectly fine. I mean, he's a great play today.
Yeah, it feels really good to look at my power forward exposure and see my three highest owned guys are Zion, LeBron, and Jalen Williams. That feels great, and that's one of the positives of hitting the lock button on a guy like Alec Burks today is the ability to do that. Center position, Taylor, who do you like? I only got a total of 5 players in my pool here.
Filipowski's the must. On FanDuel, you can play him at power forward as well. I forgot to mention that, which is pretty handy. On DK, obviously, you can play 2. I think Hartenstein's cheap enough to like. I think Khalil Ware's cheap enough to like now that we know he's starting. That's probably it. Like Bam and Zoo are viable in cash if you land there, not musts. Filipowski's really the only must. And then I do think Ware and Hartenstein are pretty strong.
All right. Will, who do you like for tournaments at center?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the lock button like you, TJ, but he is a lock button candidate. If you guys did go with the lock button, like I'm not going to fight you on it. I think I'm just going to give you guys my center exposures all the way down. And I'm talking about center only because I feel like the power forward guys I've already discussed, but center only, I'm at 70% on Filipowski. I'm at 18% on Nick Richards. I'm at 15% on Hartenstein. I wanted a little bit more. I just couldn't get there. Got 12% Missy. I've got 10% Ware. I've got 10% Zubac, 8% Wendell Carter Jr., and 5% Karl Anthony Towns. Those are my center-only plays that I have.
Yeah, I went with 100% Filipowski tonight, and then only 4 other guys. I have 30% Zoo, and then 10 across the board for Nick Richards, Khalil Ware, and Jackson Hayes, and those are going to be the only center position guys that I'm going with today. I'm hitting the lock button on Alec Burks and Filipowski. Before we get into some questions, make sure, once again, smash that like button if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're watching us on your computer, all you got to do is take your mouse, slide it over, hit the like button. And I'll even do a demonstration since we have time for my guy J3. If you're watching on your phone, hitting the like button is admittedly more difficult. Now, look, I open up my phone. There we are, right at the top. You give us a little click. We're watching the show. Hey, there we are. How's it going, everybody? You got to click hide chat. It's 2 steps. It's more difficult. You got to click hide chat. It's right here. Little X button. As soon as you do that, you can see the like button. Give it a click. I already clicked it, so I don't want to do it again. Don't want to unlike it, but do us a favor. Smash that like button for us, and let's start getting into some questions here. I have a question for you both before we get to questions from chat, and that is, who is breaking the slate tonight? I sure as hell hope it's Alec Burks. Taylor, who do you think is breaking the slate tonight?
Let's see. I will go with Hartenstein, triple-double.
Wow. Isaiah Hartenstein, triple-double. Incoming. Will, who do you think is breaking the slate tonight?
I actually really like that Hartenstein call.
Damn it. Fine. I'll do another build with Hartenstein.
Give me... I'm gonna go tiered. On the high end, give me SGA. I really like SGA. Slightly under that, give me Zion Williamson. And if we're going on the cheap end, I don't want to go with obvious Filipowski. Give me Alec Burks.
If we get to one, I mean, I was going to pick Burks and Zion too, so I got nothing to add to that. If we get to 100 likes, Chief and Taylor will play a game of rock, paper, scissors live on stream. Exhilarating stuff here, people. Thrilling content. If we had 100 likes, we got a live game here on NBA Crunch Time of rock, paper, scissors between these two elite analysts, Will Priester and Taylor Smith. Going into the YouTube chat for some questions. Yup, that's me's giving us a shout out, Chief. He says he loves when we get to talk through our process on the show and talk about our exposures and what adjustments we're making as we build. So shout out to Yup, that's me. Alexander the Dawn says, thanks for last night's picks. He cashed. He did well. He needs the last piece for DK Cash, Taylor. He's got $4,300 to spend. Who's he going with?
Probably Sensabaugh, assuming you don't have him. If you do, maybe KJ Martin, maybe certainly Alec Burks, I assume, is already in your lineup. That's kind of it for cash. If you land there and you already have those guys, you probably need to do something else.
Probably a good thing I added in Isaiah Hartenstein because I just did a build and he is now in my highest projected lineup. So I was probably losing a little bit by not including him in the pool. Happy you mentioned him, Taylor. Happy you affirmed it, Will, because now I won't be all alone feeling like an idiot if he has a good game tonight. I'll have some exposure as well. There we go. Getting that last set of lineups in. 9 minutes to lock, so make sure you're getting your lineups in. I haven't actually built my single entry yet. All I'm going to do is just plug in Alec Burks and then figure the rest out after that. Alec Burks is really the only player in that first set of games that I have any interest in getting to. Discord questions, pretty quiet, but we got a few more here. What are your thoughts on Alex Caruso, Will?
I hit the X button.
Yeah, me as well. No Alex Caruso for me today. Taylor, what are your thoughts on Bruce Brown?
Not someone I'm getting to. I'm assuming he's not starting with CJ back, so I don't see the need.
All right. Will, are you okay with playing McCollum and Zion together?
Ooh, together, I don't like it, but I mean, look, man, if you're going full blown, okay, I'm okay with it if you're legitimately saying, okay, I'm going with like a 4-2 from Utah, New Orleans, and you got 4 guys from Utah, too. Like, in that respect, I'm okay. Generally
Yeah, that
speaking,
situation, I really like it in as well. Get yourself a little game stack. Hope that one stays close. Hopefully go to overtime. Stephon Castle or Chris Dunn in a FanDuel tournament, Will?
Castle.
DK, GPP, Taylor, LBJ and Norm Powell, or Luka and Sohan?
I think LBJ and Powell. I'm not really on Sohan unless he starts.
Yeah, same thoughts for me as well. What do you think about Cole Anthony tonight for tournaments, Will?
No.
Doesn't say the format, but from either Jamie Padilla or Jaime Padilla, we got Jalen Williams or Bam Adebayo.
Was that for me or Taylor?
Taylor.
Okay.
J-Dub for me.
Well, what do you think about Aaron Wiggins in tournaments? He is somebody that I've gotten to, I think, like 5% of. He's shown up some ceiling recently.
Yeah, he's okay. I just hit the X button tonight because I was trying to get some concentration in some other spots. But generally speaking, I mean, he's been playing, I think, 27 to 30 minutes. He's probably going to have a shot to, score some fantasy points again tonight, so I don't hate it.
Taylor, assuming we're playing Filipowski at power forward, who is your favorite FanDuel GPP center?
Let's see. Probably Khalil Ware. I assume he's going to be somewhat chalky. If you have more money to spend, Zubats. But if you're looking for a cheaper one, probably Ware.
Zubac for me there as well. DK GPP, Will, what do you think about Kelly Olynyk?
I hit the X button on him, but I think he's fine for the price. I'm not personally playing him today, though.
All right. Chris Dunn tonight. What do you think, Taylor?
Not for me.
Gabe Vincent as a cheapie. Yeah, Taylor, you loved some Gabe Vincent tonight. What about Bol? We both like him quite a bit on DraftKings, maybe a little bit less on FanDuel. Well, any interest in Dorian Finney-Smith?
I feel like that's where my gap is on today's slate, to be honest with you. I feel like I'm going to get burned by the Lakers' value. I literally have none of it. That's kind of my stand. And so I don't like Dorian Finney-Smith, but clearly there's going to be some opportunity for those guys. And I feel like that's where I failed in this slate, but I'm just deciding that I'm going to be okay with it.
Taylor, what do you think about Anthony Edwards in cash if he plays tonight on DraftKings?
Yeah, no problem with that if you land there. If he doesn't, you can just pivot to Booker in the same game.
If it's a utility position, would you rather Edwards or Zion?
Zion, personally.
Yeah, same here for me as well. Well, what do you think about McDaniels on the Wolves tonight?
I think he's fine. He's played well. The minutes are there, and I think that's the big thing. The big thing is he's got tons of minutes.
George asked anyone for FanDuel tournaments, Nick Richards or Khalil Ware at center. Well, who would you rather, Nick Richards or Khalil Ware, Will?
Man, I feel like it's Richards for me, but if Ware gets full run, it's probably Ware. They're the same price. Give me Richards. I feel better about Richards overall, especially if they're going to let him sustain those 28 to 30 minutes.
Taylor, what do you think about last piece on FanDuel? A little bit of Jordan Hawkins.
I don't love it with CJ back. Should still have a role if you land on it. I guess it's okay, but it's not my favorite thing.
Sorry, just answering a question in the Discord chat here, about the Zion and CJ McCollum being together. They only had 3. Jazz suggested they throw a 4th on there. They have Sensabaugh, Filipowski, and Collier. I suggested putting George in there as well if they could, because George and Collier, even though we usually don't love pairing them together, I think if they keep it close with New Orleans, it's because those two probably had a really big game. FanDuel GPP will Anthony Edwards and Zion Williamson, or SGA and Jaden McDaniels.
Ooh, give me number 1.
Yeah, Edwards and Zion is just real juicy to get together. Yeah. FanDuel single entry, Taylor, Sensabaugh, Edwards, and Ware, or Davion Mitchell, Trey Murphy, and Hartenstein.
I think the first one, just because it doesn't have Davion. I'm not really interested in that.
And that was the next question from YouTube chat, is any Davion Mitchell on FanDuel? And so the answer is no. Some people talking about taking a shot on Julius Randle in tournaments in his first game back, Will. What do you think about some Julius Randle after his long absence?
I'm not taking any shots, but that's just me. I just think we've got better plays than taking a risk with a Julius Randle who could play big minutes or could not play big minutes. You know how these coaches are. Oh, Julius is only going to play 25 minutes. He plays 18 minutes. He's going to play 5 minutes. He plays 30 minutes. I don't want to play that game, and I don't think he's going to burn me in tournaments tonight.
Dean asking in chat, who do I have winning best film editing for the Oscars tonight? I'll say, look, if they have a chance in any of the outside of like makeup and costumes, I think if Wicked has a chance in any of those types, it would probably be this one. But I'm gonna guess I'm gonna go with Honora. Probably wins it. That's my pick. Is Honora. I have not seen. I've seen all the Best Picture noms except for Amelia Perez and The Brutalist. I did not watch either of those, but I managed to get to the rest of them. 1 minute left to lock. Get your lineups in. We have hit all of the questions. Who's gonna win the best animated feature this year? Ooh, that sounds like a Taylor category. I don't know. Are either of you guys gonna watch the Oscars at all?
Yeah, I'll watch. I haven't seen a single movie, but that's not going to stop me from watching. My wife wants to watch, so you know how that goes.
I think best animated feature is probably going to be Flow. It's one without any words, and people just seem to really like it. People watch it with their cats, and their cats go crazy. I hope it's The Wild Robot, though. I think it will be Flow. I hope it's The Wild Robot. The Wild Robot was my favorite movie of 2024, I think. Absolutely loved it. I think that's it. That's it for questions. No more. Oh, there we go. Zubac or Hartenstein? FanDuel single entry, Taylor.
I said Hartenstein would break the slate, so I guess I have to stick with it, though I do love Zubac as well.
Yeah, I like Zubac a lot in that spot. All right, that'll do it. Great job, everybody. We have reached all of the questions. We'll be back Monday for some more NBA content.
Hey, who's going to win our Grammy Award-winning Rock, Paper, Scissors tonight? Or did we not hit our goal?
That's a great point. Let's see. Did we get to the 100 likes? Will we get the highly anticipated game of Rock, Paper, Scissors? No. Unfortunately, we are at 91. So the people will not get Rock, Paper, Scissors today. I'm sorry. You're going to have to do better next time. Good luck tonight, everyone. Make sure you got your lineups in. Make sure you stay tuned still for the Luka Doncic, for the LeBron James, Anthony Edwards, Bradley Beal. Lots and lots of news in that last game, in those last few games that we are waiting for. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Smash that like button on your way out on behalf of myself, Will, and Taylor. Ooh, Mr. Richard said he's got to line up with both Zubac and Hartenstein today. I like that one. A good way to get a little bit different. Thank you so much for tuning in today, everybody. We will see you next time.